The due date for a writing assignment arrives, and another stack of fresh essays awaits my attention. A part of me is eager to read each essay as a vehicle to peer into the mind of each student. I look forward to experiencing something of their experience through a lucid piece of descriptive writing. I want to see their thinking in a persuasive argument. I am hopeful for the surprise of an astute observation in a literature response. The other part of me shrinks at the daunting task to evaluate and help each one develop his or her ability to use writing well as a tool for sharing their thoughts. Currently, I evaluate their first draft with a scoring rubric to help them see what areas need development, and then give a date for the final draft, which is evaluated again with the same rubric. The problem is that the student is left with little more than an inked up paper, a scored rubric, a comment, and a grade. When they get their paper back, students typically look for the grade. Some take a little time to look over the rubric and comments, and then the paper gets filed away, lost, or tossed. I want to do better. Currently, each paper is like another stone lugged to the teacher's desk to be tagged with an evaluation and then forgotten. I want the students to see them as stepping stones that they use toward a goal. I want to join each student for a while on their journey, help them see where they are, and encourage them on their way over the next hill. I need to see their roadmap with their route highlighted. I need a tool that will help me and the students see the big picture of all their writing, a way to unfold their map once in a while. I want the students to spend more time reflecting on the evaluation that I give and take a little time to place their next stepping stone, just so that it helps them better reach the next one. I need a tool that helps students view writing as a process that can extend beyond the computer lab and into their life, even into their social life and downtime. The technology that I would like to use is Google Docs and the other applications Google offers, along with the storage space in Google Drive. I chose this tool because, on the one hand, the word processing feature is very familiar to the students and allows them to continue to develop their writing skills. But on the other hand, the sharing features bring an additional facet of supervision and guidance, which opens the door for a student to receive more direction, not only from me as a teacher, but from their peers as well. Dropbox and Microsoft's OneDrive could also be used, but I am attracted to the spreadsheet and forms applications in Google Drive that can be used to help assess the writing. Some other tools, such as mind mapping to help students organize ideas and a writing tester to help the students use tools for personal assessment, can supplement their writing. But I believe that Google Docs is the best tool for helping me to reach my teaching goals and improve student writing. An article I read in Tech and Learning about using tech tools to assess soft learning gave some great ideas for using Google Docs with writing assessment and helped convince me that this was the way I wanted to go. The first move I took toward creating an individualized writing roadmap was to have each student set up their own Google account and prepare a writing folder identified with their name that is shared with me. I then set up a folder in my Google Drive identified by the graduation year of the class. When the students share their folder with me, I can add their folder to the class folder I have created in Google Drive. I'm working on a style sheet which gives general instructions for writing assignments and directions for setting up folders. This sheet is shared in Google Docs with the students and placed in their folders. This sheet also contains an assessment checklist to guide the student in the assessment process. Because I have shared it with the students, it appears in all their folders and will be up to date if I make any changes. The writing folder is where they will keep all their writing, even writing from other classes. Okay, so I have been working in Google Drive to set up folders for the various classes. I've got 2017 students, those are my freshman class. 2016 would be the sophomores. Haven't created one yet for the juniors, and my seniors are working on a spiritual heritage project for their final assignment and are doing their work also on Google Drive. Now, with my 2017 students, when I click on that folder, inside there is each student folder with their first name and writing. And going through my grade book, I realized that one student hasn't shared it yet, so I want to talk to the student and see if we can get their folder linked up. So going to the student and getting on their Google Drive with them, I would ask them to create their folder with their name and writing. Just create. And that folder should show up in my list of folders here, but I do not see it. There it is. It wound up inside my 2017 students folder. Now, if this was on the student's computer, it would have been just in their root directory. But let's suppose that this is the student here. They've got their folder. I would want them to right-click on it and scroll down here to share, move over to share, and it would tell them that they are the owner, but that they would, in order to share it with me, they would need to type in my email address. And click send and done, and what that does is send an email to my email account. If I open my email, I get an email that looks something like this. I've shared an item with you, their name and writing. I would click on that. And over on the right hand of my screen, it would open up in Google Drive. You can click on this blue box here. And it opens that up in my Google Drive. That file looks like it put it in red here because it was already in that file, but if it wasn't in exactly the right place, you can take this file and move it to wherever you need to put it, if it was in 2016 or 2017. Once all those files are set up, You can click on a student, and any work that they are currently working on will be there. I'm able to click on their document to assess their work. And way over on the right-hand side of the screen here gives you the history of the different activity that's been going on in this account, and able to monitor and manage the students' work that way. The second thing I did in Google Drive was to create an assignment rubric with Google Forms. This rubric is a broad assessment of essay type writing, but can be applied to many types of writing. It emphasizes the ability of the student to convey his or her ideas effectively through writing. Each student completes this rubric to assess his or her own work, to encourage thinking and self-reflection of their work. The student then shares the piece with a peer for peer evaluation with the same rubric before I give my evaluation. All the data collected with this form is gathered in one spreadsheet which I can access. When the due date comes, the students have written a first draft, copied and pasted the checklist from the style sheet to the end of their document, used the rubric to evaluate their own writing, and obtained a peer review. I then read their work and give my rubric evaluation and comments. I copy the data gathered for a particular student and paste it into their document along with all the other feedback. The student will then review the feedback, make revisions, and set a personal writing goal for the next paper. The student records this feedback and his or her goals into a spreadsheet called with their name and writing goals to help them with the formulation of a strategy for obtaining the writing goal. This personal reflection on the part of the student and their strategy to obtain their goals is included in the writing assessment for each student. Because the end of the year is drawing to a close, as I work toward implementing Google Drive to solve the problem of disjointed writing assessment, I consider what I have done so far as a test run for next year. I found for myself and the students that it takes time to get used to using Google Docs instead of or alongside of Microsoft Word. The students also need to get used to spending more time reflecting on and editing their work. I plan to prepare a bit more for the incoming freshman class next year, getting them established and working with Google Drive. I am a bit concerned with managing the folders and anticipate the need to consistently enforce file maintenance. But I am encouraged by the above-mentioned article in Tech and Learning, which concludes, quote, "At the end of the course, student responses to the goal-setting process were overwhelmingly positive, specifically due to the high level of autonomy, differentiation, and accountability the method afforded," end quote.